Today we see Jesus acting with power, the power of his kingship. He is enthroned and showing himself to be king. His throne room isn't much. What was Calvary? Calvary was some stone that was no good, part of a quarry. And the stone was too soft, couldn't be used for building. So they left it there. And as this rejected stone stood there, it started becoming a garbage dump. People throwing their stuff there. And the Romans saw it as an ideal place for execution. It was outside the city walls, so let's use it. The throne wasn't much. Jesus' throne was a cross. And in the Old Testament it says, accursed is that one who is hung from a tree. And the religious leaders were cursing him. And the soldiers were cursing him. And one of the others being hung on a tree was accursing him. But the other criminal probably wasn't a criminal, probably closer to a terrorist. Somebody who was fighting against the Romans in their occupation. The other criminal had some sort of faith. Some sort of faith that led him to turn to Jesus and say, Jesus. The people mocking Jesus were, calling him Christ or the King of the Jews. But this guy uses the name Jesus, which means God saves us. Jesus, remember me. His faith gave him a hope, an audacious hope. He had the audacity to say to Jesus, remember me. In his power, from his throne, Jesus says, today you will be with me in paradise. And just before the beginning of our passage today, Jesus looks at those around him and he says, Father, forgive them. Twice he shows the power of his kingship. To forgive, to heal. And we hear that in the second reading today, where Paul says, God has transferred us from the power of evil, of the darkness, into the kingdom of his Son. Through the forgiveness of sin. As we look at Jesus enthroned on his cross, it's got to give us the audacity of hope. Because we know through the waters of baptism, we have become part of his kingdom, right here, right now. We have gathered here today to be nourished in that kingdom, to receive the food we need to live in it. But we look at the throne room of the kingdom today, and we see terrorists. We see innumerable armed conflicts. We see addictions, alcohol, heroin, to other drugs. We see criminal activity. We see all sorts of biases and prejudices. And we recognize that Jesus is still enthroned on his cross in this kingdom, in this throne room. But he still reaches out, and he still says, today, but he reaches out through me. He reaches out through each of us so that we can turn to somebody and say, today you are a part of this kingdom. In the audacity of hope, we can bring goodness to others. In the audacity of hope, we can show forgiveness. In the audacity of hope, we can welcome. In the audacity of hope, we can lay down our arms. I am a member of the kingdom of God. Each of you is a member of that kingdom. We can live that kingdom because Christ is still enthroned, not just on the cross, but he is also enthroned in our hearts.